Okay. And let me find you. There you are. All right. It's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby, although we are a few minutes late. Technology. I want to introduce and welcome my dear friend, which is so funny to even say that, but we've grown very close over these last couple months, but we are virtual friends. We've actually never met in person. I haven't hugged her and kissed her, but it's okay because it's—
But we will.
We will for sure. So from Grow Up Bright on Instagram and also on Facebook. Are you on Facebook too, Mary?
Yes. Yeah. I don't have as big a presence on Facebook, but yep, I have a Grow Up Bright Facebook page.
And I'm sad to tell you, everybody, that I am sitting in my home office as opposed to Nanny Bubby's kitchen because we truly had issues with connections. I kept losing the Wi-Fi and everybody was freezing, and it must have been me because we're fine now. But I'm so happy to introduce Mary to all of you. And Mary really addresses a pain point of all mothers, even though we just lost her, which is a pain point for her and I today. Your picture went up. There you are. Okay.
Sorry. Got one of those like solicitor calls. It's funny because I told my husband, do not, because my husband usually calls me on his way home from work, which is now. And I was like, do not call because I am going live with Nanny Bubby.
I love you say Nanny Bubby. Only my granddaughter says it as cute as what you say it. Thank you so much. So Mary, we're talking about the pain point of mothers. All of us have been there from one time or another. It is the most rewarding job on the planet and yet the most difficult job, which doesn't come with an instruction manual.
No.
Or a boss, really, that tells us that we're doing well or not doing well. So tell us about Grow Up Bright.
So Grow Up Bright started with creating illustrations to inspire moms through this challenging and magical time. I wanted to create illustrations that would, show the realness of motherhood, but also with the tug at the heart emotional part, because I think as moms we're constantly trying to find that balance of being who we thought we would be or who we want to be as opposed to what our reality is. And sometimes we look in the mirror and we're kind of like, who are you? Like where did I go? Like who is this woman that's staring back at me? And I like to think of motherhood as not like, a lot of times moms will say, I want to go back to being who I was before I was a mother. But I really think once you have a child, whether it's that you have adopted a child, given birth to a child, however you become a mom, it changes you forever. And I want moms to embrace that. So Grow Up Bright really is about embracing that growth through light. And that was sort of where the name comes from. And the reason why I use the word bright is because I'm an 80s kid, right? Light bright and rainbow bright. And I wanted it to have that, that youthful feel to it. And so, and the Grow Up Bright page has grown so much. It's at over 20,000 followers at this point. And the best part is when I get DMs from moms that say, I needed to see that today. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing or, for that support, or you make me cry and laugh at the same time. And those are the highest compliments that I can ever hope for is just to inspire moms. And it's just like, I want to give everyone like a giant hug because I know it's hard.
You do.
But it really is the best job. I mean, and it does go by so fast, as you know, Marla.
Yes.
But it's so hard when you're in it, and it's so hard to see, like you can't see the forest for the trees because you're stuck inside.
I think some days what you find is that you're doing great. It's like the perfect day. You thought about, what you're making for dinner. You thought about, Colette just signed in. My daughter just signed in, which is great. Teresa Anderson is here. I have my head down for a minute because on Zoom, when you connect to Facebook, it doesn't scroll who's there. So I'm really happy. I had to get my phone attached. Boy, my daughter once said, Mom, I think you and internet technology or Facebook technology or social media technology need to take a break. But I think I've come a long way since she said that, actually.
You are amazing. You amaze me, Marla. You're very impressive.
Oh, well, thank you. Although today was a little rough getting started, and Randy Marvin is here. So, hey, Randy. So I think, again, there's those days as mothers and really as fathers, if there's any fathers watching, where everything is perfect, especially if you're a working parent, right? You get the kids up and everybody was in a good mood. Everybody had everything they needed. We drove, we played the music, we dropped off. You go to work. It was a good day at work, which keeps you in a perfect mood for when you pick up the kids. Dinner was ready, everything, homework. There was no frustration. It was just the perfect day. And I had many of those. But I also had many days where somebody called or something happened with my extended family and I had to go take care of that, which put me behind with this or that. Or if someone in the extended family or friends needed me, then I lost time keeping everything perfect for my own family. And I think that we don't give each other, or we don't give ourselves, if you will, the grace that we need to just continue on, and it turns into a bad day. And like, what's your advice on that?
So that's an excellent point. I think a lot of the times those are actually better than a perfect day, because those are real situations. And I think when we get to show our kids that we have our own struggles, it gives them permission to have their struggles, and it makes everything real. Like, because I think sometimes what happens is we have these high expectations of how motherhood's supposed to be, how raising kids, how kids are supposed to behave. And as we both know, I mean, just with our little technology glitch, like, it just doesn't go like that. But to be able to smile and say, yeah, okay, we're going to move forward. And it doesn't have to be the end all be all. Like, it doesn't have, like, just because, you failed your test, you were late for this, the meeting didn't go as well. The meeting didn't go as well. The dog got out, whatever it is, you get to always reset. Like, every second is a chance to turn it all around. And so I think on those types of days, those are the best lessons. Those are the best moments when you really get to come together as a family. And so do I wish those kinds of days? Absolutely not. I love the days when everybody wakes up and everybody's in a good mood and, like, dinner's ready and it's just like, today was a good day. But the other days are days where I feel like we grow. Like, I feel like I've grown.
What do you find is the biggest pain point? So you have 20,000 followers on Instagram, which is amazing. And they're there because they are finding a sense of joy from the illustrations that you're posting. Again, it's Grow Up Right, BRITE, on Instagram. So go like her page or ask to friend her, I think. However it works over on the other platform. But and I also want to say hi to Ryan McNamara. I love her. And Tom Downer. Hi, Tom Downer. You've never been here before, so it's so good to see you. And MK Padua, my sister is watching. My mom will come on. Roseanne is always here. So hello to these people. And Patty was my granddaughter's nanny. Yeah, and she was here at my house every day because I took care of my granddaughter every day for her first year. So, but I had Patty here for 4 hours during the 8 hours, which was great.
It helps. I think having a village, and I think, so you were asking what are pain points.
Well, what do you find is the biggest pain point for mothers who have, one or more in that they are expressing to you? And what is their deepest need? And are you finding actually, like, there were days when I felt hopeless, like I just couldn't do it all. So much was being asked of me, and I just could not do it all. And I felt like I should be able to do it all, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's more talked about now, that feeling, because I think moms often feel that like I should be perfect all the time, and when I'm not, I'm a bad mom. Like, and that's a constant feeling, but people talk about it more, so it's not as hidden and it's more accepted, but there's still a lot of guilt and shame and comparison. And those are the three things that I think rob moms of their motherhood. It's they see other moms that seem like they have it together, and that's one of the pitfalls of social media. It's like you see these perfect homes with these perfect kids and everyone's smiling, everyone, and the mom's the perfect size. And it's like, how do I fit in there? And so that's why for my illustrations, I really, really, really try to have a diverse mom thing. It's funny because I think when my kids were little, they watched Caillou. Have you ever heard of that? It's a cartoon. The child's actually quite annoying, but the mom on it, they make her look so dowdy. And it's like, but then you almost are like, I understand why Caillou's mom is so dowdy, is because she has zero time to herself. Like, she can't get a break.
Yeah.
The kid is just so.
Well, especially if you've got toddlers, right? If you've got two,
the toddlers,
4, 3 under 4. I mean, I don't know how it adds up, but I mean, if you're having them every 2 years. I want to say hi to Allison. And I also wanted to ask all of our listeners that are here right now to send us a 1 if you've ever felt kind of helpless. Just send a 1. If you've ever just really gotten frustrated, just type a 1. Just and if you feel that you've always had it in control, type a 2, because we actually would really love to see who's feeling what. Mary, one of the pain points that I really hope that I'm helping to fill, and I'm doing it by getting really a lot of feedback. I got some great feedback this morning in my small group, that in my Arrive group, but that the pain point that I am trying to help serve is for the working mom or the busy mom, right? Because even if you're not working, you're working your home, which is, and by the way, I just want to say, hey, Sue Gitterman, Epstein, nice to have you here. I can't read her whole post, it's too long, but I will when you talk. But that I can't remember what I said before Sue texted. What was I saying? Do you remember?
You were talking about what your pain point is for that you're trying to help working moms or overwhelmed moms.
Right, exactly. Is to be able to get into the kitchen and feel confidence, and absolutely feel inspired, and to feel confident, and for me to be able to work with that mother who, well, what I was saying is that you posted something that said, one of your illustrations, right?
I think I have it.
You know what I'm going to say?
I think that I'm going to
You're not just a stay-at-home mom to your kid, right?
Oh,
remember that one?
Mom. Yes, that one.
Yeah, you're not just mom to that kid. That kid, you are the center of their world. The sun rises and sets. To them, you are not just a mom, right? Look at that. That really resonated with me. Like the fact that my children at any time in their life, that I really hope that I acknowledge that for them, that I knew how important I was for them, and I wanted them to know how important they were to me.
Yeah, I think sometimes though, moms, the reason why I did that post was because moms feel like they have to get everything right all the time. And if they don't, then they're not, they're not worthy. And I really want moms to be able to own it and be like, yeah, I feel great. And I don't get it all, I don't get it right all the time, but that doesn't mean anything. And that also not being one of the things is like when you're filling out the forms for the kids, when you go to the doctors and it's like occupation, it's like, what do you write? Like, you know, mom, like I'm caretaker, like
Right.
generation maker. I kind of, right. I mean, go ahead.
What role do you think grandmothers play in all of this? Like,
Well,
how do you?
I think grandmothers are essential because I think they're a bridge for mom, like for children and their moms. Like they're that the bridge of the history and the new beginning. And they allow, like, my mom's great. I mean, my mom, like I talk to my mom every day because that's our relationship. Like I've always had to call her every day.
We do that too.
It's like an Italian Jewish thing. It's like, you know, she's like every day I have to just check and make sure. Doesn't matter that I'm married for 12 years. I have to like check in with her. But she, you know, she's like, I'm amazed at what a good mom you are. And it's hearing that from my mom, like it, you know, I mean, it's the greatest compliment for her to recognize
And
what I'm doing. And, you know, and then I get to also sort of, you know, because she's like, I wish I had done that, or I wish I could have been that kind of mom. I wish I could have been the mom that you are now. And I'm like, you were the mom, you were the best that you could be with what you had.
Can I just tell you and everybody else who happens to be watching, listening, because my daughter just signed in, and she doesn't usually sign in, but I really have to say that about her. I've never seen a more patient mother. I was never that patient because I was too nervous. I had so much like I needed to do. I didn't know which end to turn. She is so patient. And she's so explanatory. I mean, like, first of all, she has to be, because my granddaughter asks question after question after question, like, she'll hear a word and she'll say, what's that word mean? And if the explanation isn't good enough, she's got to re-explain the word. So my granddaughter's probably helped her be more perfect at it than what she was. But I really have to say, when I watch my own daughter mother, I am amazed at the mother that she is. She's just truly, I mean, it takes my breath away. It makes me cry. It really does. It's a wonderful feeling.
That's how my mom, I mean, if my mom and you were talking right now, you'd be having the same conversation. But I think that's because that's back to like what I did with the retreat, was to look at, you know, where we felt that when we were children, we wished we had a certain thing, and then to realize what we've learned and to try to marry those two so that you can be the mom you were created to be, because every mother is different, every family is different, and you are the perfect mother for your child. You're given this child for a reason. And, you know, you get to grow. And as the grandmother, you get to encourage and provide that support because you know your daughter better than anyone else. I mean,
my door is open and the gardener next door just showed up. Can you hear that? Hold on, I just at the door.
Marla's fantastic. She's such a pro. Nothing phases her. She's very good at being able
and
to.
the door was open. The door was open because things are being painted in here, and I thought I was going to asphyxiate. So now I may asphyxiate, but at least we can hear each other. Okay, so let's talk about this one thing, Mary. We talked about it this morning, but let's have at it. So, you know what's happening is that mothers who go to their in-laws every year, or who go to their mothers every year, or whatever, are suddenly cooking that turkey for the very first time, right? Are you finding that in New Jersey?
So I was telling Marla that yesterday I was in the parking lot and a woman was telling me that she was making her turkey for the first time. And it was funny because I said, oh, because that was the one thing that I made. Like, so my mother-in-law would make all the sides, and I was in charge of the turkey because we host Thanksgiving at my house. So I've been making the turkey for 12 years now, and every year it comes out good, except one year I was a little underdone. But I always feel like it's better to be underdone
Yes.
to be overdone, because I can always put it back in. But that was only 1 year. But I might have been pregnant, and I feel like that I get
That's a good excuse for everything. I was not.
so,
But I want to say
so
hi to
Mom-
Fred Domaney, who I can never believe that he's watching, but he does, and I love him for that. So thanks, Fred. Hello to Lisa Dell, my dear best friend, who's tuning in for the very first time, and my husband is watching downstairs, so I hope there's not feedback. But
so this mom in the parking lot was like, yeah, you know, and I was like giving her tips, but more importantly than the tips was the confidence. Because I was like, you got this. Like, don't worry. Because even if it's dry, you put cranberry sauce on it. If it's not cooked enough, you put it back in. You got this. It's going to be great no matter what. And that was what I wanted to, like, because that's what I think moms need. We just need to know that no matter what, we're not screwing our kids up. We're not like, you know, we're not making a mess of things. Like, it all works out in time, and everything can be a lesson, and everything can be turned into a positive lesson.
Right. And you told a story the other day in your retreat, which I love this story. I'd really like for you to tell it again if I can refer you back to it and you remember. Yeah, for sure. Where you were talking about how you did something and you needed to apologize for it. Does that resonate? Do you remember that story?
Yeah, well, I mean, I often do that because I grew up in a house where we yelled. Like, that was our form of communication.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's how we communicate. It's love. But sometimes, you know, I let my emotions sort of get the better of me. And in this instance, I yelled at my son. I got frustrated and I yelled at him. And I was able to, in real time, sort of see what was happening. And I was able to then say, you know what, I could have handled that better. I'm obviously like tired and frustrated, but that's not your fault. And, you know, I'm going to own that, like, I didn't act properly towards you. And, you know, I'm going to ask you for forgiveness. Like, and he was like, yeah, you know, that really made me feel this way. And I'm like, I can completely understand. And he's like, you know, but it's okay, Mom. Like, I know you love me. And it's giving children the chance to see you make a mistake and own it. It gives them the permission to own their mistakes, that like mistakes aren't the end. Like, failure isn't the end. It's just a thing. And the best thing to do is to say, you know, I could have said that better. And next time I will. And it's like, we're going to work on it.
And what do you think that does for children when they hear, you know, that apology?
I think
helps
it really,
them too, right?
Yeah, I think it empowers them because, you know, like my son and I, we have a pretty close relation. I mean, he's 10, but like, these are the years where I really feel like it's so important to keep those communications open, because we're about to go into those teenage years where, you know, if you don't listen to the little things now, they don't tell you the big things later. And so I really try to model behavior.
Oh my gosh. Do you have an illustration that says that?
About modeling?
Don't listen to the little things now. Yeah. They won't tell you the big things later.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, well, that's a good say. I mean, I think that's
powerful. That is powerful, Mary.
It is. And that's one of the, like, you know, we talk about like mantras that I tell myself. So sometimes when I'm tired at the end of the day and I don't feel like spending that like one-on-one time, but my son wants to read a book, or he wants to show me something, or he wants to have a conversation before bedtime, I tell myself, if I don't listen to the little things now, then they're not going to, you know, so to take those 5 minutes.
Especially with boys, because boys, you know, don't talk near as much as girls do. Maybe some do, but mine sure.
My boys do.
Do they?
No, and it's true. But I think, you know, boys get the message that they're not supposed to be emotional, that they're not supposed to have feelings, that, you know, crying is this, or, you know, if they talk too much, they're not, you know, they're not boy, and so I really try to make emotions okay. So like if my son's crying, I try not to. I mean, it's hard because you never want to see your kid sad. So it's your instant reaction is to be like, what's the matter? Don't cry. It's okay. But I usually say, yeah, that looked like it hurt, or like, wow, it seems like you're really angry. You let it out. Like, let those tears out. Like, it's good to cry. It's good. And then we move on, and then it's like, we don't stay in
there. They
there.
feel acknowledged. They feel,
yes.
Sometimes when we don't feel good, or when we're sad, or when we're whatever we are, whether we're 5 or whether we're 50, honestly, we just want someone to say, do you need a hug?
Right.
And suddenly when you say, yeah, I just need a hug, and you get that hug, suddenly you feel a whole lot better.
Yes. But it's different. Like, it all depends. You have to like be able to like communicate. So it's funny because when I'm really upset, I don't want to be touched. Like, I don't really, but I have one child who loves to be hugged. And so if he sees me upset, he wants to hug me, and he knows now. He's like, you need space, right? And I'll tell him, like, if depending on how upset I am, I'll be like, yeah, mommy just needs a moment, because usually it's like when I'm frustrated, the last thing I want is someone to like get into my space. But my son, like, he's just, but it's teaching those things, like teaching that it's okay to have emotion. Then it's okay for us to have emotions, because I think that's the thing, is like, as parents, you don't want your kids to see you emotional. But how are they supposed to learn how to deal with their emotions if they don't see emotions? Right. So it's just, but I mean, I'm not saying to like blow up all the time, but like, it's important to like, let them see, like, mommy had a rough day, or, and I usually try not to say mommy, because then I'm talking in the third person, and then that causes other people.
So what do you have to say? What do you have to say? Because this is the pain point that I'm helping to solve. Yes. That I really want to serve is, mommy comes home and it's dinner time. And, if you're just thinking about what you're doing for dinner at 4 p.m, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And so my goal is to help moms and anybody, but mostly moms, have dinner with Nanny Bubby and help to prepare for their week and enjoy. But many of these moms, as I was told this morning, don't know the difference between a tablespoon and a teaspoon, or a dry measuring cup and a liquid measuring cup. So if they follow any recipe, they may not be able to have it come out correctly, because they don't know exactly what they're doing, right? And so it comes out bad. So what do you do when you're cooking for your family and it turns out terrible? Where's the lesson?
I'm trying to think, like, one of the things, because this is why we connected, is because food is my love language. Like, that's how I show my love for people, is to cook really delicious food. So like dinner tonight, we're having French onion soup and like the shaved beef that will like top with cheese, and like sort of like an open face sandwich with.
And when did you start making that French onion soup, Mary?
I started making it at 4 o'clock. I caramelized my onions very slowly with a little bit of balsamic vinegar and sugar, and really like let the flavors develop. And then I put the beef broth with thyme. Sometimes I usually use herbs de Provence.
But how did you, like, when did you shop for that? When did you make the decision about it?
So that I did yesterday. Well, because so my stepdaughters are in town for Thanksgiving, and one of them really loves French onion soup. So when I was getting all the stuff for Thanksgiving dinner, they had the sweet onions, the Vidalia onions. And when I see those, I think of French onion soup. So I was like, oh, I'll make French onion soup, because also I like to try to, because it's Thanksgiving, I try to make food that is not Thanksgiving-y, because we're going to have to, so it's a lot of meat.
And we have a tradition of always going out for dinner on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving.
Oh, we get pizza.
Yeah, because I've been cooking since God knows, started setting the table 2 months ago.
Exactly. Well, I took the turkey out today and put the brine in it. So, we start, you know.
But when you ruin a dinner and it doesn't come
Yes.
out, so my daughter and her best friend have teased me relentlessly, or unrelentlessly, I guess I should say, over a lemon chicken that I made years ago, and they never let me live it down. But you know what? Here it is. They're out of high school now, almost 20 years, and we're all still laughing about it. They made me cry that night, though. I will tell you, I literally went in my room and cried.
Here, I have a really funny story. When I was a teenager, I asked my mom to make beef stew. I really wanted this beef stew, and she worked hard all day because my mom, she could cook Italian food, but stew was not something that was in her repertoire. She worked very hard. We have the dinner. I take a bite of it and was like, this isn't so good. She went crazy. She got so angry. We got into a massive fight. It was a disaster. Fast forward to last year, I made stew, serve it to my 10-year-old, and he's like, this is disgusting.
Oh no, payback.
I was like, payback. That's karma. It was like, 25 years in the making, but it was payback. And it was funny. Like, I laughed. Like, my husband was like, I can't believe you just said that. And I was like, I get it. Like, stew's one of those foods that sometimes doesn't come out so good.
I have to tell you about that. One of the things, I wrote a poem to my daughter when she was pregnant, when I knew she was having a girl. And it was really a great poem. I loved like what I wrote to her, but one of the lines in there was about having a girl or having a daughter, and how, in very poetic words, it was like, if she has a mouth like yours, payback is, is the next best
No, but
thing.
I got to call my mom. I got to call my mom and tell her the story, and we had a good laugh over it. Yeah. And so like, that's like it's hard for me to really think, because I usually don't mess up dinner, but like sometimes, like, I'll make things where my kids don't like the taste of it, and then I'll offer them plain pasta or something, that's sort of on the simpler side, or a yogurt. And this is from a person who really identifies with loving to cook. I don't let it break me, though, because I'm kind of like, you win some, you lose some. Like, it's part of it's part of life.
And let me ask you, does your husband, where does your husband fall in on all of this? Like, does he know what you cook every day? Does he?
That's how, that's how I became his girlfriend, was because after the first, I made him this meal, and he was like, will you be my girlfriend? Because he was like, because he loves to eat, and we really love, like, when we go out to eat, we plan what we're gonna have, because we share everything. And so we both really enjoy food in a beautiful way, like we just love taste. And so one of the things that I've learned recently to cook is duck breast, because we used to love to get that out, and now it's not as easy to go out to eat. And so I've learned to make duck breast, and it's so easy. Like, I always thought.
Where do you get it? Where do you get the duck breast?
Whole Foods has it. So
frozen?
Whole Foods.
Is it frozen?
No, it's in the like, if you look, like a specialty, they don't have it all the time. I've gotten just a duck breast. I've tried duck confit, the legs, but that's like a very complicated recipe, and I tried to make it once, and I was like, that's one of those recipes I'll just eat out. Like, it's just certain things, like, it's just not worth the time and effort. But like the duck breast, it's like the easiest thing. It comes out so good. We have it with sweet potatoes and a salad.
Because if Roseanne is listening, she will want that recipe. Okay, go ahead.
It's so easy.
If you're still connected, Roseanne, send us a 1, just so we know you're there. Send us a 1 and a heart. Okay, go ahead.
The trick to creating a really good duck breast is you start in a cold pan. So if you have a cast iron pan, you don't put it on heat. You have to score the fat, the duck fat. So you squirt, and then you put the duck breast in the cold pan, nothing, like no oil, no nothing, because of all the fat.
Skin side down?
The fat side down, and then you turn it on high and you let that fat render so it becomes duck bacon, basically. And the fat renders out of it and the skin is nice and crisp. And that's usually about between 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the size. Then you flip it over once. Be careful because it's pretty, like the fat, like the rendered fat, it gets very, like there's a lot. So if you flip it over, the hot oil can burn you. But you flip it over, cook it for another 4 minutes, and it's done. And then you let it rest, and then you slice it.
What kind of sauce did you put on it?
I made a blueberry sauce with wild blueberries once, like just, from the frozen, you just put it in a pan with a little bit of sugar and, either orange juice or water, whatever, and, reduce it. And then you can pour that, because I like a fruit type of sauce over the duck. But usually we just have the duck breast with the sweet potato, because the sweetness of the sweet potato goes well with them. And then we have like an arugula salad with some gorgonzola cheese and pear, and that's dinner.
Nice, very nice.
And my kids like it.
Oh, that's good. It's even better, right? A good variety from pizza to duck breast. That's very good,
Yeah.
Mary. So, Mary, I'm wishing you. That's very good. It's a very modern household. I wish you the happiest Thanksgiving. I wish you the happiest.
Thank you, Marla. Marla, it's always
to you, your family, and all your followers who follow you and get so much inspiration from you. And I think that together with them, you bring such joy and comfort. And I thank you for what you bring into the world. You have a beautiful heart, and you share that so beautifully with everybody. And I'm so proud of the work that you're doing for those who find you. And I hope that all of my followers who are listening to this will pop over onto Instagram and find you over there, because you are a beautiful inspiration. And she has a shop. We might as well mention you have a shop, right? Which I just found out about this morning. So for illustrations on Instagram that you'll see, beautiful illustrations are in a shop on growupright.com. So mugs, what else?
Yeah.
Mugs.
Yes. Magnets, stickers, a couple journals, prints.
Oh, just small journals. That's
Yes, that's the idea. Yeah, because I think moms need a place to get all their emotions out, and mind dumping is a really good thing.
And if they go on paper, they're much better for sure. And so if we can do this together on the count of 3, you know what we're going to do, right? 1, 2, 3. Spread love.
Love, life, butter.
Yes, everybody go forth. Have a great Thanksgiving. Spread love like butter. I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock when it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. Somebody asked me to show the stuffing that I'm making, so that's what I'm going to be making tomorrow. If you want to tune in and we can make stuffing together. Bye, everybody. Bye, Mary. Thank you.
Bye, Marla. Love you.
Love you back, my friend. Bye.
Bye.